Alright, so I'm calling the Chevelle SS. The rumor that it's coming out confirmed because I already seen one made and there's a production amount set for those. So what are we looking at with the Chevelle SS's? It looks like the Super Ultra base model is going to be starting at $32,000 and going all the way up to $150,000 depending on the actual trim level you get. For horsepowers, we're looking at somewhere around 300-ish for like their low power, like base model. And then as you go up in the trims, you got 450, 900, and 1500. Now the 1500 one is the LS6. That one's not even really worth thinking about because they want to keep that one rare. So apparently they're only making 25 of those and they're already allocated out. So unless you're Jay Leno or you know the right person, that one's kind of irrelevant to you. But it's a completely carbon fiber car with just a ridiculous amount of horsepower. So how did this car actually come to be? Well, that all goes to another video I made about MSRP and why it's so important. Because the manufacturer doesn't just take a magic 8-ball or just pluck a random number out of the air on what an MSRP should be. They look at the car, what exact market it can fit into, and be competitive at what dollar amount. For example, taking a $150,000 overpriced Hellcat against that new Chevelle SS that's all carbon fiber with 1500 horsepower, it's not even a competition. That's like a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Like, that is a far superior car. But with them overpricing and gouging the crap out of cars right now, it showed GM, hey, people are willing to pay this much for a car if they're under the impression that it will be rare and or valuable someday. Now, rarity, that's something else. I mean, everybody's got their own number for rare, but I think it's generally accepted. A rare car is less than 1,500 made. For example, the Dodge Demon, we got 3,300 made. And because this is sold as rare, they're almost all going to be around forever. There will always be, it might drop by a couple hundred, like a car gets lost in a house fire or something like that, but generally there will always be at least 3,000 Demons. That's twice as many as what it would be required for it to be rare. Now, why exactly does that matter? Because you're looking for specifics. Rarity, like, take the Home Shopping Network, for example.
Oh, we got a limited edition of Star Wars Collector's Play series coming up.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. That's gorgeous.
Very nice.
How much did that run for?
Well, it's an $800 value.
Yeah.
I'm giving away to $39.95.
What? You can't do that! Hey, what? I gotta blow my head off!
I swear to
Anytime they brought out one of those plates like, this is a collector edition, it's going to be rare, anytime you do something like that, a bunch of people buy it and they don't destroy them. And therefore, they're a victim of their own success. They never become rare because there's so many of them that it just never drops in value. Take Hellcats, for example. A lot of dealers are like, oh, I'm charging $10,000 over MSRP because it's a rare car and it's going to be extremely valuable.
Now, it may be a 2019, okay, but these cars are kind of hard to come by, and they're certainly not cheap. They're asking $84,900 for this.
$56,706 at the time of this article were sold. That is the complete opposite of rare. A Hellcat will never be rare. They made far too many of them. Now, they do have something called a track pack, where they only made a couple. That will be a rare car. That you'll see at like those auction houses for a couple $1 million in the future. This LS6, where there's only 25 of them, that will be a rare car. You will only see those at auction houses going for millions of dollars a few years in the future. Your Demons, Hellcats, stuff like that, yeah, there's always going to be a market for a Demon because it's cool. It's got a cool name. But it's never going to be considered rare. It's a Demon. It's a streetable car. They made way too many of them to be rare. For example, just to show you how on rare the Demon is. So an SRT 392, from my knowledge, it ran from 2015 to 2018. In 2015, in the US, they sold 840 of them. 2016, they had a really good year. They sold almost 3,000 of them. 2,695. 2017, 421 units. 2018, 1,020 units. And then they were done. That means there's a total of just under 5,000 units. Now the difference between this and the Demon is This was not called a rare car. This was not called the collectible car. Therefore, over the years, there will be a bunch of them getting destroyed. In like 20 years or so, there's only going to be like 1,500, 2,000 of them that exist. But there will still be the full 3,000 demons, probably like 3,200 of them, that still exist. So the SRT 392 will wind up being more rare than the demon because they sold the SR 392 just as a normal car, not as a collectible, where the demon was sold specifically as a collectible, but they made too many of them to where they're not going to have a high value in the future. The LS6, yeah, that's going to have a high value because they're only making 25. Again, though, I mean, this car's useless to us because we're not Jay Leno and we'll never even have the opportunity to get our hands on one. Unless we were willing to pay like $500,000 or something ridiculous like that. So, the track pack, the LS6, yeah, those will be rare. Now, I have like an SRT 392. Will it be rare? No. You want to know why? Because I got it in black. Automatically, if you have one of the Hellcats in black, it's not going to be rare because that was the most produced car, period. Like out of all the Hellcats, almost all of them are black. So it would have to be in some weird color. You also have to have some weird option. So let's pretend that you had an SRT 392, we'll call it Plum Crazy Purple. So now you're going from 400 down to like 80 of them. Now let's say you got an option with that Plum Crazy Purple that they just didn't do a lot. Maybe it was in a full electric steering because some of them were manual, some of them were hydraulic electric, some of them were full electric. And let's pretend that out of those 80 of them, only 2 exist now. So now you have a car in a color that it's one of 2, or maybe even one of 1. Now that is where the value comes in. And another reason why my car will not be rare is because I'm not a cuck. I'm not going to go put my girl in a garage for some other guy to enjoy at some point in the future. Now I'm going to drive it till the wheels fall off. I'm going to bolt the wheels back on, drive it some more, and then when I'm finally done with it, and there's nothing left for her to give me, then I'll let some teenager pick out of it out of the boneyard. So that's why my car won't be rare. And that's why, like, for example, SRT 392s will ultimately be more valuable than Demons or Hellcats because there'll be, like, none of them. People don't go at that. Now, I'm not saying that specific car is going to be the most rare Hellcat. It probably won't, or most rare SRT. It'll be something else. It'll be some undesirable option that only, like, 20 people picked. And out of that 20 people, like only 2 cars exist with that particular option. And that's how rarity always comes. Very, very low production numbers. The only way to get low production numbers is to get something most people don't. And that happens by having a limited production run, or it's just some sort of option nobody thought to get, and now all of a sudden no more exist. And that's the only car with that particular option, and some actor used it as a hero car or something like that. It'll take some sort of something that's not predictable. If it was predictable, then every single person would buy it, and it would not become rare because everybody bought it. Again, going back to the Demon, or like the Hellcat, or like the Shelby GT500. I first seen like the Shelby GT500, the 2013 and 2014, because those were only a 2-year production. And that was the year Shelby died. And those have more horsepower than the years after and the years prior. Those will probably become rare. The LS6 will definitely become rare, highly sought after. But unless it's something like that, like something just unforeseen, and they didn't, you know, sell it under the umbrella of this will be collectible, valuable, or rare, it's just going to be an average car. No doubt all the Hellcats and Demons will be high dollar cars because they'll always be desirable. Everybody wants one. But to move from that hard to find or higher value into a rare class, super valuable, like millions of dollars, impossible to find rare, you have to have a very, very small amount of them made. Like, really small amount of them made. So, if I could, would I buy the LS6 compared to like a Demon for $150,000? Oh, hell yeah, I would. Am I holding off on buying a Hellcat now to see what Chevelle actually brings to the table? You know, maybe I'm able to get the 900 horse one. Or I think it's kind of funny that Hellcat or Dodge hasn't announced what the new Hellcat engine is going to be, which tells me the new engine that's going in the Hellcat will make all prior Hellcats obsolete when it comes to track times. Because they haven't announced it yet, I'm pretty sure the next generation Hellcat, the 2023s, are just going to dominate. Or would it be 2024? 2024 will just dominate all Hellcat made before that. Those will be highly desirable, especially if they only run it for a small amount of time. So I'm holding off right now because I want to see what Chevelle is willing to bring to the table, at what price, or I should say GM with the Chevelle, and what the new Hellcat model is going to be, because to me, I just see their new engine, whether that's a twin turbo straight 6 or something like that, bringing more horsepower at less weight to the table, making all the prior Hellcats obsolete. Anyway, that was just a quick talk about the new Chevelle SS that's coming out. Kind of went off in the weeds and started talking about rarity, but whatever, you know, it all kind of rolls together, and why people are going after these cars is trying to get rare cars. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.